Halo Tania.
Selamat siang, Pak.
Selamat siang.
Well, I'm excited, Pak. So, Multimedia Podcast, the channel that you're on right now, is a new channel,
Mhm.
and it's aired on LinkedIn. So, the principle of or the concept of the podcast is to discuss about digital media and digital technology and how that impacts our everyday lives. And
Mhm.
in your particular case, what would be of interest for our channel's listeners is to find out how exactly does that digital advantages put Indonesia in relative term to its peers, to neighboring countries, and in your particular title is Asia Pacific and Africa bilateral relations. Um,
Uh,
so so where does that place us, Pak?
well, I think the digital technology is affecting everyone, not only Indonesia, but if you talk about Indonesia, I think with the population is more than 250 million, and out of that number, I think it's around 180 million already. I'm not saying they're mastering the technology, but they at least they are using the technology, and
Mhm.
I believe that. With the social media that they also follow, at least following the social media, or at least they are commenting on the social media. I think that's
Mhm.
also can have an effect to another. Either it is in Indonesia, or for sure is a the technology is that there is no boundaries on that. So I think it will very affect the other countries as well. And I believe that Indonesia's people now is getting more mature on using this technology, this social media, and they know how to use it, especially for the economic benefit
Mhm.
for themselves. Not to mention that in this time, the COVID-19, when a lot of people has to stay at home with work from home, or even they
Mhm.
are, they are making money from home. So I think it's very affecting us very much in Indonesia as well. Thank you.
Okay. So I will, on that particular note, our Indonesian Trade Minister Muhammad Lutfi, in his presentation to the World Bank, stated that he believes that 80% of Indonesia's GDP in the future is going to source from digital economy, as he puts it. So would you say that, would you agree with him
Yeah, of course.
on the
I
bullishness of?
do agree with that, because as you know that now everyone is at least they are holding one of the gadget of the technology. Not to mention we have what you call it, the companies that are based on the digital technology. That's, I think, that's very affecting us, and I believe that the Indonesian companies now more and more utilizing this technology to have their own profit, for example, or they can do what they call economy benefit from that.
Mhm. So what you're saying is that, if I'm understanding correctly, despite outside of Indonesia's digital unicorns, the Gojeks, the Tokopedias, outside of those big e-commerce companies, that even other businesses are adopting the digital technology to expand on their business, and
Yeah,
that's going to be where the contribution for the digital economy comes from.
yeah. We talk about the other side of the coin, like teaching. They're using
Okay.
the technology, this kind of technology, and I think the school from home, or school from the school is now, the boundaries is very thin.
Okay.
I think that's thanks to the technology. Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously, the one is the awareness of the technology itself, then the digital literacy in terms of understanding how to use those technology. And in the macro level for Indonesia, the government needs to make a greater effort in terms of infrastructure for the technology itself. So, do you think our nation is competitive enough in terms of the pace or the how much infrastructure that that the country needs actually to have in order for the digital economy to prop up the hope of that digital technology.
Well, maybe we are not that advanced as others developed countries, but we are getting there. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, now the Ministry of Telecommunication, for example, they are building up a lot of BTS, to make the people more connected to others, and then also that we are having a kind of more awareness on how you use the technology, the social media.
Mhm,
We are catching up, yes,
mhm,
but as you know that this is not a kind of magic wand, which
mhm.
is not by abracadabra, and then you can change people just like that. But yeah, we are getting there. I believe on that, and I think
Okay.
a lot of especially now when during uh, the present government, I think
Mhm.
the what you call it, the kesadaran, the understanding on the need for sophisticated technology and how to master it is there. So I
Okay.
think the government also going to catch up this
Mhm.
technology. Yes.
I see. Well, the department that you represent, is the coordinating Ministry of Politics, Legal, and Security for Republic of
Yes.
Indonesia. So
Yes.
how has digital improvements helped our country relative to or for itself or relative to its neighbors?
Well, in terms of technology, I think the Ministry of Technology, Telecommunication is also under our coordination.
Mhm.
So that's why we are
I see.
has a very close contact with them on
Okay.
what is their policy and what is their program and what kind of including the budgeting is also under the monitor of us. So I think we also knows about what are they heading for. And also, if you talk about the security, the national encryption and cyber, institution is also under the Indonesian Kemenko Polhukam, or the coordinating Ministry of Political, Legal, and Security Affairs. So, in the sense of that, we also monitoring. We also see about the good use or the misuse of this technology. Um, we
Okay.
are monitoring on the issue, for example, the cyber terrorism, for example. We also
Okay.
do, something like that. And also about the technology of financing terrorist financings, including the technology of information. Uh,
Okay.
you know, wire transfer, for example, is also under our coordinations in monitoring this kind of issues.
Okay. So the technology that we have today or that the government currently uses is already advanced enough to filter or to capture these kinds of transactions that are going on. They're illegal in
Well,
nature
yes,
or like,
yeah. I mean, we do have, if you know the Intract, the PPATK, or the in transnational, sorry, what you call it, Indonesian national transaction, money transactions
okay.
institution, the money laundering, and then institution like in Indonesia, they
Hmm.
have the technology of tracing of people on money transfer, wiring, and as well about
Hmm.
this. And if you know about the I think it's last week, we managed to get 5,000 reports on misuse of this money transaction,
Okay.
wire money transaction, which is mostly out of the 5,000, that one is used for the terrorist financing.
Hmm.
So I think we have the technology, and then we
Okay.
now with our cooperation with other institutions, we can trace and do whatever we think that is good for our security.
I see. So what is our biggest challenge then, Pa?
The challenge is, I think, uh, um, how we know. in terms of technology of telecommunication
Yeah.
technology.
In terms of Indonesia's digital competitiveness.
Well, yeah, we still as a what you call it, as a user. So
We're
I
still a
think
what?
now as a user
Oh,
of the technology is, I think
interesting.
we need a lot of people, more people, to become an inventor, for example,
Okay.
instead of just in just only as a user of the technology. And by that one, I think the level of education on technology, on the telecommunication technology, should also be enhanced. Not only you as a user or as a buyer of the technology, but also you know how, you know, the 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 the, the issue of like scam, money scam in the phone, on the phone. I think
Mhm.
it's still there, right? So I think people has to know how to use the technology. I mean, the phone technology is related to money, for example, related to the security, for
Mhm.
example. I think the education should be enhanced in that sense.
Okay. So the lack of technological innovation originating from Indonesia, you think, is what makes Indonesia less competitive, or Indonesians less competitive, you
Yes,
think?
yes.
Okay.
So we just only as a market, I think.
Mhm.
And I think this already time for us to also kind of a producer of something technology that can be more
Okay.
advanced. And I think that a lot of Indonesians are capable of that.
Okay. Specifically, what kind of technological innovation would you like to see coming out of Indonesia?
Well, uh, I think it's about 10 years ago. The one who invented the 3G's technologies are Indonesian, but now the
I see.
5G's
Okay.
was, yes, but now the 5G's was invented by the Chinese, for example. Nothing wrong with that, but I think we still has, I mean, uh, the invention of 3G's means that we are capable to invent something else.
Mhm.
So it means why not we just invent a more advanced technology rather than just now we feel okay, nice, that's enough for me, and then I just want to use it. But we have to have people who has a more critical thinking, who challenging himself, he or
Mhm.
herself, to
Mhm.
advance this technology.
I see. Okay. Fair enough. But you brought up China, so I'm going to have to ask you. Recently, we have and the reported in the news, because that's also part of the social media, digital media have reported that in Indonesian waters, Chinese boats and have been spotted in Indonesian waters, and Indonesian
Yes.
fishermen have been complaining about that level of security and breach into our Indonesian waters. So, what is Indonesia's official response in terms of that?
Well, I think we should, in that case, we should more to have a kind of a national policy on that.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, China probably they think that they have the rights to have a maneuver the Indonesian economic zone.
Mhm.
But that's because they have what they call the nine dash line claim, right?
Mhm.
So they think that this is our waters. But Indonesia also has to have a policy, as a more strong policy, that we have to defend that waters,
Mhm.
and not quarreling in ourselves what you call it, a national quarreling inside our. So we have to have a strong policy. The other side is also we have to strengthen the capability of our fishermen. You know that the Indonesian fishermen in that area, they cannot have what you call it, goes to fish beyond the 12 miles,
Mhm.
because they don't have a technology. We don't have a big
Yeah.
boat, or so I think that's the other issue that we have to overcome,
Okay.
the capability of the fisherman itself.
Okay. So to modernize the technology of the fishermen is one thing. I was wondering if you meant that we should arm the fishermen with RPG
No, no, no.
propeller.
That's against international law. No.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought that was
Even
I
the
thought
Coast
that was
Guard,
the more practical answer, the kind of technology
it
they
is
exist.
practical, but it's not. It's against international law.
It's practical. Okay. I'm just
Yes.
wondering. Okay, so you're just saying
And
better boat equipment so that they can fish more
yes, yes.
efficiently.
So they can go more than out of 12 miles, for example,
Mhm.
12 nautical miles. You know.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then also you mentioned that Indonesia should also have to strengthen its own defense against such violations from external forces. Should we be asking Uncle Sam for also a nuclear submarine as Australia has? Or I mean, since
No, we don't need.
we had a
We
broken submarine recently, but so maybe we should ask for
yes,
Uncle
I
Sam
know.
for a nuclear submarine. What do
No,
you think about that?
I think it's not about asking someone to to strengthen our capability, but it's on how we maneuver with our foreign policy, the free and active foreign policy. I think we need to utilize more on this. You know, free, it means that we are free. We can go left or right. We can go middle. It's
Mm,
free. And
mhm,
active, it means that we can ask someone more. Because of our strategic position, for example.
yeah.
I think we have to understand more about the foreign policy principle, the free and active foreign policy. If we go to the ankle SAM, that's okay because it's a free and active foreign policy. But if you go to China, it's also okay. If you go to Russia, it's also okay.
Mhm,
So I give you an example, like in India, for example, they don't have a free and active foreign policy, but they use an aeroplane,
mhm,
the squadron, the fighters. One fighter is from China, one fighter is from United States, one another fighter is from the Russia. So what's wrong with that?
mhm.
Nothing wrong with that, you know.
Yeah.
So I think we have to more active. It doesn't mean that, and I think a big country like Indonesia don't have. It's not the time that we have an inferior feeling anymore.
Okay.
We have a
What
member of
in the
G20.
inferior feeling of what? To ask for help for
Yeah,
others or
we are Asian, we are a quote unquote a poor country, for example. We
Mhm,
are easy to be what you call it, pushed by a big country. No, not anymore. We are a
mhm,
member of G20, the
mhm.
only Asian member
Nation,
country in the
right.
G20. So we have to have our confidence.
Mhm,
And they need us. China needs Indonesia.
mhm.
Australia needs Indonesia.
Sure.
United States needs Indonesia. India needs Indonesia.
Mhm,
So
right.
don't have any inferior feeling anymore. We have
Mhm,
to be confident, more confidence. Like, why we have if we talk about the pandemic,
mhm.
why there are so much country that willing to help us in
Mhm.
vaccine, for example.
Yeah.
Almost every day we have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million vaccines came to Indonesia, regardless the name,
Mhm,
whether it's Pfizer or AstraZeneca,
mhm,
Sinovac, whatever. But that's because they see Indonesia is a credible country. Is a very
mhm.
good country. Is a
Mhm.
is you can count on. So I think this is
Right.
also can be in our issues, security issues,
Mhm.
something like that. Yeah.
So, do you think the inferiority complex is that internal within Indonesia, or is that still what you think is the perceived reputation that Indonesia has internationally among its peers? But
Well, both.
okay.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
I think to some of us
Yeah.
internally inside our own country, some people still see that others are better than us.
Mhm.
People say, "Oh, they are good, they are great, they are fantastic, they are happy," but actually, it's not. Uh, we are can catch up with them, and we are already.
Mhm.
Let me tell you one story about the competition, a sniper competition uh,
Okay.
in the world.
Okay.
The champion is Indonesia.
Oh,
It's
really?
not
But
Indonesia. Yes,
that sounds
out of the
frightening.
out of 13
Impressive,
medals.
but frightening. And also, don't forget Indonesian double
That depends on
badminton
how you
gold
see
winner.
it. Depend on how you see it. Out of 13 medals, we got 12 medals. It's not only in Australia, it's not only in the United States, but
Mm.
also in Europe, for example.
You hear
And
that, world? We're killers in here.
we are not killers. We are the defenders of our nations.
No, no, killer as in like champions.
Oh, okay. So you have to boost that, your
Yeah.
pride,
Mhm.
your look. You are good. You are bad. You are not less than the other countries.
Okay.
You know. And
So,
and
mhm.
from outside, if you ask about that, why is there any country see us? Yes, um, the mindset of most of the Western,
Mhm.
and I can say the Western, for example, they
Mhm.
always see Indonesia in before the Reformasi. They
Mhm.
still Indonesia is a kind of a semi-dictatorship. The Indonesia
I
that
see.
always, against human rights, for example. But they didn't see that in Indonesia, every second, every day, every minute, every second there is a change in Indonesia.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
who can see that Indonesia now is the third largest democracy in the world?
Mhm.
But
So
sometimes they still cannot accept it.
I see. So the ongoing discussion here that you are saying is that in order to have the world stage level of legitimacy, Indonesia also needs first to be a digital innovator, not just consumer. And also to gain more competitiveness, Indonesians need to argue less internally and have an improved self-esteem, I guess is more what you're
So
saying. And
yes,
then, and politically, in terms of nation to nation wise, in a diplomatic level, you're saying that's the records prove themselves that Indonesia militarily, economically, are changing every day in that regard.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And
Okay.
in daily life of the Indonesian are changing every day. And I mean, it changing is in a good way, yeah.
Mhm.
Changing is in a positive way, for
Right.
sure. Yes.
Okay. So the digital outlook for Indonesia looks like it's bullish then, in terms of our technological prowess and advances. I like it, and we also hope that for the Internet of Things also reach for our fishermen and our farmers and the way that um, they do their business on a day-to-day basis. I guess that's
I do.
and what are kind of the innovations or what kind of efforts coming from the government to help the fishermen, to help the farmers? Are there any efforts that are helping them?
Oh yes, yes. I myself involved in this, especially for the fishermen in the Natuna Island. Um,
Fantastic. Okay.
Once, because of the condition, I think it was in 1990, 2019 and 2020,
Mhm.
right before the pandemic. We tried to 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 move some of our fishermen from Java to Natuna
Mhm.
for I think for several purposes. One is to populate the fishermen there, more
Okay.
fishermen there, and also because the technology of the Javanese, the fishermen in Java are more advanced. They can go more than 12 nautical miles.
Mhm.
And the third one is also for sure is to educate the other fishermen there on how to advance themselves. So I think this is a kind of you know uh, 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 learning by doing technology
Yes.
that we do for the fishermen there.
Mm.
So
Okay.
and it's very effective. Even that the challenge is if there are a lot of fishermen there, how to process it because there is no processing fish processing company or what you call it factory there. So that's
Mm.
why we try to build fish processing factory there. So
Mhm.
I think the government is already have a kind of a more systematic concept on how to advance the fishermen in the area.
Well, that's
Something like
exciting
that.
to hear, Pak. And much success into that. And as I promised to you, this is a 30-minute show and our time is almost up. Any final notes or thoughts that you'd like to share with us before I
Well,
let you go?
I think for our colleague international audience, for example, I think please see Indonesia as Indonesia now. Not don't see Indonesia as Indonesia in 20 years ago or 30 years ago. We are
Mm.
changing. Every day we are changing. Every
Mm.
second, every minute, even every second, every minute we are changing. And for our fellow Indonesian, I think as I mentioned before, we have to boost our own confidence. We are
Mhm.
not a pariah country anymore. We are a great nation. So we
Okay.
are the third largest democracy in the world, and I
Right.
think we are. If you talk about GDPs, we are good. We are member of the
Mhm.
G20, the only one in Southeast Asia. Even
Mhm.
Singapore is not, but well, Indonesia is great.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's proven its own legitimacy, I think, but and I think you're right in that. And so hopefully more good things to come out of this nation. And Pak Pribadi Sutiono, everyone, thank you so much for being the very first guest of Multimedia Podcast. So thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much. Thank you,
Ini Pak,
Tanya.
my pleasure, Pak. Thank you so much. And I hope to meet you
Thank you.
someday
Take care.
in real life.
Sure, no worries. Take
Take
care.
care.